Wake up. Wake up. That's right. It's a Friday. Niners play Sunday night. It is week 7 in the NFL. George Kittle is back. Trey Hendrickson may not be coming. We got a lot to get to. Over-unders on the basketball are out as well. Welcome to the Krug Show meets the Blues. Wake up.
Oh, Friday, October 17th. Welcome back to Wake Up. Congratulations to Lawrence Kruger. He remembered his laptop. He is Levi's Larry because he's Laptop Larry, and he's with us from Levi's Stadium. I'm coming to you from the home headquarters, and it is great to have you here. We got a loaded Falcons team meeting a limping 49ers team, but, you know, the 49ers are getting good at limping. It's who they are. It's what they do, Larry. And they got a puncher's chance in a game that's got a funny number on it. 49ers minus 2.5. We'll talk about the over-under. We'll talk about maybe a sleeper play or two. But welcome, everyone. It's great to have you here. Hit like and subscribe early on in this video to help YouTube push it across the algorithm. It's great to have you here. Look, Larry, this is a loaded Falcons team in terms of putting up a whole bunch of yards on your face. It's what they do. 379 yards per game. It's the second most potent offense in the NFL right now. They've also got the number one defense in football in terms of yards allowed per game. I bet a lot of people weren't thinking about the Falcons' defense coming into this game. They got the number one rushing attack in the NFL with 151 yards per game. Bijan Robinson is on pace to set the NFL's single-season scrimmage record. I mean, yards from scrimmage. Falcons are coming in off a big win over the Buffalo Bills. We know that the 49ers are getting over a huge news of Fred Warner, and it's been kind of a rough week. But like you said, they're getting George Kittle back. This is a game that I think the 49ers absolutely at home can win. I even think that there's a chance that they could go out and control this game a little bit. But getting that offense moving and staying on the field on third down, getting off the field on third down, and finding something going in your running game would help an awful lot this week for the 49ers.
It's amazing how a few weeks changes everybody's tune. This was a gimme game when the schedule came out. Oh, you got the Falcons at home. You know, this is a gimme. And now it's like you're seeing they've got a chance to win this game. You know, it's a totally different deal. Here's my overarching question beyond Niners Falcons, and this is more of a football degenerate gambling question. When you see a line that doesn't make sense, does that encourage you to go against it or to go with it because the gamblers know all? This game is that game for me. I think I'm looking at a 49er team that is hemorrhaging, stumbling, 16 guys on the injured list, just lost Warner, just lost Bosa, haven't been able to run the ball, haven't been able to rush the passer, have a lot of youth on their defense. Special teams are horrible always. Offensive line is proving to be totally fallible. And now here comes a Falcons team that is just worked over the Commanders and the Bills, making Josh Allen look really bad on third down. And they're a blitz-heavy team that plays man-to-man. And you'd think the Niners, with their, struggling receiving core at times, as far as getting loose from man coverage, and their offensive line is going to struggle with the blitz and the man-to-man pressure. It just seems like it all should line up for the, I know it's a short week for the Falcons traveling cross country. None of that crap matters. This is a really young football team. They don't care about the extra day. It's a really young, aggressive football team. So on the surface, I'm saying, I like the Falcons, man. I'll take the Falcons and the points. If you told me right now that Michael Penix got hot or that Michael Penix got hurt and that Kirk Cousins came in and the Falcons went to the Super Bowl and we're here at Levi's at the end of the year, I wouldn't be that shocked. I see the NFC as wide open, and I see this Falcons team as a bully. They're a top 2 offense, they're a top 2 defense. So all I'm saying is I don't have great luck betting the NFL this year, especially. But when you see Niners -2, I was listening to Murph driving down on KMBR, and they're like, Murph was like, I don't really believe in the Niners this week. And yet other people are like, yeah, I like the Niners by 3. I like the Niners by 4. I'll say this. In the NFL, it's a lot about this week, Damon, not about last week. And if it was about last week, I like the Falcons. But if it's about this week, I don't know. How is the wrong team favored? And maybe the bigger question is, when you see a spread that you think is wrong, do you bet it? I mean, bet against it and think that you're smarter, or do you go with it and say, something's up there?
So what they tell you is home field advantage is worth 3 points, right? That's kind of where it is in football. So that's sort of what we're looking at here. The Niners are getting the benefit of the doubt of home field advantage and really nothing more, and maybe even a little less since it's 2.5 and not a solid 3. I don't look at the line as that abstract. It is a team coming across country. It is a team on a little bit of a shorter week. It is a team that, doesn't play with an awful lot of expectations. Believing in the Atlanta Falcons is a great way to go crazy as a football fan. So this has got one of so Larry, I'm a sleeper sponsor. I know you're a sleeper sponsor as well. This is one of those games where I really like to play it through sleeper and just play over unders for players more than I do. I don't like the game number. That, to me, -2.5 is a complete and total layoff. I'm not calling who wins this game. I'd try to predict what some of the stats are around the players would be in this game. The over under 47.5, that feels like an over to me.
Really?
That feels like
I'm thinking that might be an under, because I was thinking, this is how I see this game. I think 49ers defense might be able to slow down the Falcons because Penix sometimes is inconsistent. And maybe I'm also a big believer in Robert Saleh and their ability his ability to kind of just scheme things up. So I'm kind of thinking 49ers defense is going to hold their own, but it's the Falcons defense that I think is going to give the 49ers offense fits. I see the 49ers low scoring in this game, and I think the 49ers defense fights like crazy, and I see low scoring in this game. If I was betting this game, I would definitely take the Falcons on the teaser so you get Falcons plus, instead of 2.5, you're getting 9 or 10. If you get a 7.5 point teaser, that's 10. And then you could tease it up to 54.5 and go under. That's how I'd play this game. I think it's a low scoring game.
A little bit of a betting nugget in the ESPN kind of preview of this game from ESPN Research. 3 straight 49er games have gone over the total.
Since they're passing.
Since the start of last season, overs are 11-0 in 49ers games following a loss. So if you like trends, the Niners hit that over after a loss. But I also think that and 275 will get you on Muni. I don't know how much that's worth anything when you're actually going to the window to make a bet. But to me, this is work those sleeper player props, probably lay off the game. That's the way I would go about betting it. And that is the way I'm going to go about betting this game on sleeper this weekend. I don't think I'm calling who's going to do what. I'll say this though, just looking at the numbers, I opened up the interwebs to look at some of the Falcons numbers and see where they are as a team. And they're more impressive than you would think. They really are when you see who they are in this league right now statistically. You know who also is kind of more impressive than you would think? The San Francisco 49ers. Dude, do you realize that the San Francisco 49ers lead the NFL in passing yards per game right now?
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, they're leading in passing yards because they're passing. It's like you could look at that as a positive.
Right.
But the reality is what's happened here is they can't run. And so they're throwing it 40 times a game.
Right.
So if you look
I
up
think
right now,
we
Damon,
know why.
they have the 30th ranked rushing offense and the first ranked passing offense, but it's basically Kyle Shanahan wants to achieve balance, and they're not
Mhm.
achieving balance. So what's happened? The last 2 weeks, Mac Jones has taken 20 hits. 20. He's not going to last. Purdy's not. They're in a weird spot right now. This is a really interesting, Greg Papa brought this up. What's going to happen with Kirk Cousins? Because the Niners have a season where it looks like they could be a playoff team. They have an easy schedule, they say, even though it looks a lot harder now on paper than it did earlier. But it still looks like a schedule that should be able to get them into a playoff hunt. Um, what happens if they lose their quarterbacks? You're going to go with Adrian Martinez the rest of the year? Because Brock Purdy, I'll say this, Damon, I was at practice yesterday. Brock Purdy looks bad. He does. He looks bad. He's not he's got no juice on his throws. Everything's real loopy. He's accurate and he's running around out there, but he doesn't have that zip on his passes. That toe has sapped him of his ability to really plant and drive. And he's not throwing the ball well. So I don't whether he comes back next week, I think he's going to try to come back next week. I think he's going to try to come back again, and it's going to go horribly. And then he's going to be out again for a longer period of time, if not
That
the
can't
year.
happen. Like the Niners need to prevent that happening. And
Well,
they need to be overcautious here. And look, I never said Adrian Martinez was going to be a good option. They said that. They said that after looking at Tanner, Mordecai and Sudfeld and Bradley and every other dude that they brought in to be a camp arm or whatever. This team, here's the thing. I don't care who you are. You're the San Francisco 49ers or the Carolina Panthers. You're on QB3, you're fucked. So there you go. I mean, that's kind of where you are. There's no surviving. And your third quarterback came in and you still went to the playoffs and they still moved. So at that point, I'm not even upset about them not doing anything at that point if you're at QB3. Meanwhile, you do have the greatest backup quarterback in this league right now with Mac Jones. Has he been pummeled? Yes, but that's Adrian Martinez is going to get pummeled. No matter who that dude's going to be, he's going to get pummeled behind the way that this 49ers team is playing right now. But this is who they are. They're not going to be adding Kirk Cousins, for Christ's sakes here, Larry. They're not.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like it, but if they win games and they lose quarterbacks, are they really going to sit there and roll with Adrian Martinez? I would say it's a lot more viable than you think. Then you, at the end of the year, you decide what you want. You have Cousins, Purdy, and Jones all under contract, and then you decide who you want, and you trade those guys away. I mean, I'm just saying Atlanta may trade him. The Niners may have interest if they lose, if Mac Jones is hurt and Purdy can't come back. I'm just saying, it wasn't my idea. It was Greg Papa's. Let me just say this as far as this game. The Niners have the number, Niners can't run. So here's the question. Are the Niners going to be able to get their running game going against a Falcons run D that's just kind of okay? 17th in the league right now. They give up 114 per game on the ground. And if that doesn't happen, then it's the Niners' number one passing attack with Mac Jones to Kendrick Bourne and Kittle returning. And keep an eye possibly on Jordan Watkins in this game too. He's going to be back on the field replacing Sky Moore as the punt returner, and you may see them feature Jordan Watkins on some go routes. He could make an impact because he's speed. He's ready for liftoff. But the Falcons have the number one pass D. So yes, the Niners have a really good passing offense, and they've been able to get away with the fact that they're a half of an offense. They have no rushing attack, and they've gotten away with it to the point where they're 4-2. But now here comes the number one pass defense, and the Falcons also have 14 sacks, double that of the Niners, and their 14 sacks, Damon, are from 10 different players. So they're coming from all angles with all kinds of young athletes. And you think this 49er offensive line is struggling now, wait until what we're talking about potentially. Sunday night, we're either going to be talking about, hey, this Niner offensive line got off their you-know-whats and run, really delivered a strong run blocking performance and the Niners won, or I think it's more likely to be, oh my God, Atlanta's young line whipped the 49er offensive line, and the Niners have major problems. And
could happen. Look, we've seen enough of that happening to, you can't discount that. The Niners can lose on I think the Niners have basically lost every single game so far on the line of scrimmage, yet they're 4-2. Again, the Niners have
their defense has won it for them.
Yeah, the Niners have Kendrick Bourne out there and Mac Jones, and they have the best passing game in football, though. It just does not make an awful lot of sense. So
no. I mean, this is gonna be a challenging game. I mean, I asked Kubiak. I said to Kubiak,
honestly, I know that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know that Kyle seeks balance. You got to stop looking for shit that you can't find. I think it's time to go full on Texas Tech air raid the shit out of this game. And maybe say we're going to throw away 20 empty carries for 20 passing plays that might actually go somewhere. And we're going to stop asking Christian McCaffrey to run into the back of his own offensive line. And maybe we're going to give a few of those carries to Brian Robinson Jr. And Christian McCaffrey, guess what? You are a top 10 wide receiver in this league right now. And that's what you're going to be the rest of the year. There's the way we wanted to do it, which is no longer available. So this is the way we have to do it.
It's an interesting point that you're making, because these are the discussions had in coaching rooms when you're talking about game planning and you're suffering through injuries. Do we spread them out? Do we go big people? Do we go smaller people? Do we go with speed? Niners have that decision to make with Warner. Do they go with the big nickel, as they say, with the 3 safety look, which I think you may see a little bit more of. So there's all kinds of schematic, interesting things there, but that's an interesting one right there. I mean, that might be the approach. I do it. So here's the thing. Spread everybody out. I mean, you know what I think of when you say that, Damon? I think of Charlie Weiss, Tom Brady, and the early 2000 Patriots when they had Brady, who was a phenomenal processor and a great quick release and a 6'4" guy who could scan the field and really throw. And then they put everybody out in the pattern, right? And it was like, can Tom process and find an open guy in a spread short passing game? You can do it in a way. If you go back and watch Brady operate those things, Damon, it was beautiful. He would get up on the line of scrimmage, and he's putting tremendous pressure on the defense because he's just standing there holding it, and you got 5 wide, and he's scanning the field, and the defense is running around, everybody's pointing, and who's got who, and all that. And then he drops back 3 steps, boom. Mac Jones, this should be the game plan. I like this plan, Damon. Put McCaffrey out wide. You've got a bunch of receivers now. You got Bourne, you got D-Rob, you got Kittle. Flex Kittle out wide. Put your 5 eligibles on the field. Go empty. And let Mac Jones just 3-step drop and just let him just stop route, little curl, little out, little this, little that. Now you got a little run game.
And something that we didn't even think of because it wasn't going to be a reality. Tungus. Jake Tungus.
Great.
All of a sudden, now you got
been really good.
Now you got a wide receiver to put in your routes other than George Kittle, which means Kittle can be left at the line of scrimmage to help out where it's needed most there. You got to use George where he's needed most. Him improving a little offensive line protection is more important than him going out and catching balls in between the 40-yard lines. Kittle, I want to see targeted in the red zone once again because his team is stumbling there.
Or maybe used as a blocker in the red zone. I mean, that was the otother thing. I heard John Feliciano go on 95.7 The Game this week, and he said that he thinks the blocking issues are more outside, that they miss JJ and Debo and Ayuk and Kittle. And yet, the Richard Shermans and the Baldies of the world are pointing to the Niners' interior offensive line with Pooney and Colby and Brendel.
Well, it's all together.
I would probably say it's both,
yeah.
But I think it's a combination of the two. They're not nearly the same blocking unit that they used to be because you know what I think's totally clear is that the Niners' offensive line has been absolutely lifted up by the non-offensive linemen on the offense and their ability to
100%.
block.
100%.
All those other guys, Kittle, Juice, Ayuk, Debo, JJ. You're talking about 5 of the best blocking players at their position in the entire league. And so to have a lot of those guys out of the lineup, and now Debo's moved on, I do think that's contributing.
Larry, go ahead and go watch their running game numbers going back to where it all started going wrong, because the Niners were an incredible rushing attack under Shanahan with Christian McCaffrey. Then obviously McCaffrey is hurt last year, but when Brandon Ayuk got hurt, that's when the running game has gone in a direction it really hasn't pulled up from yet.
Yeah.
It's all the same offensive linemen, basically. Brandon Ayuk's absence in this running game is a reason why the Niners are now just one of 2 teams in all of football who have yet to pop a run for more than 20 yards yet this year. I think the other team that there were 3 teams that hadn't busted a 20-yarder last night. The Cincinnati Bengals busted a 20-yarder. So welcome to the list, Cincinnati Bengals. I think the 49ers, you got to pick and choose when you're going to run a little bit. But if this is our best way to win a football game, is throwing it 50 times, then that's what you need to do. Forget about what you wanted to do and do what you need to do. And that's what I think the 49ers need to do. It's time to abandon a running game that is not working, because this is the litmus test here. If George Kittle coming back this week doesn't start opening that up, then we can just assume that's not going to really be opening up too much this year. Well, and I think they got to rethink things.
Okay, there's another factor here that we're not talking about. The Niners are the slowest freaking team in the league. They're so freaking slow. I mean, that's a big factor. Name me the receiver on the 49ers that the opposition's like, oh my God, we can't let that guy get deep. That guy can't go over the top. They don't have him. It's Jordan Watkins. It's Jacob Cowing. It's Isaac Guerrendo.
These are not feared names in this league.
Their speed is they don't have any speed. That's why I think there's a big. That's another reason that none of these runs are going, because if you don't have deep speed, if you have deep speed, you got to honor that deep speed. You got to run off. You got to clear out. You've got to create. Speed creates space. Right now, they have no space to run. If they had more speed, I think that would give them space to run. But you don't just have to have speed. You have to then throw them the ball.
Yeah. All the speed on this team is either hurt or hasn't earned Shanahan's trust yet to even be out there.
You got to put him out there. That's why I think Jordan Watkins this week is going to be up. I think he's going to be out there. Now, I asked Kubiak about Watkins. I asked Watkins about it in the locker room, and he said, hey, yeah, I think I'm going to get a shot this week. And, he's been fielding punts. He looks good. I think he's going to take over for Sky Moore. But then the question, when I asked Kubiak about it, he's like, yeah, it's a process. It takes time. We're working him in. It's like, it just didn't sound at all like Kubiak was in any rush to get him out there. And I really believe, yes, it's about their inability to block inside. Yes, it's about the inability to block outside, but they're facing really lots of defenders in the box and around the box because they have no speed that anybody has to honor.
I mean, that's a world that they should be used to living in by now, because they were living in it all last year too. So again,
they had Ray McLeod though for a while. That gave him some speed. Before that, they had some other guys. But I mean, you got to have somebody. You have to have somebody who can run off the. I mean, I've asked Shanahan about this 4 times in the last 5 years, and every time he always talks about how important it is. And of course he is going to say that, because he is the offensive designer. He's the architect. He's the guy who designs the plays. So he knows that if you have Tutu Atwell and he can run off the deep safety, now you've got more room to operate underneath.
Well, the thing is, I think that
49ers are operating 100. One thing that's clear, and I've talked to a couple people this week, the Niners are operating almost exclusively underneath, and that's why they need that speed, because their guys are getting smoked.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, you could say that the entire league is operating underneath. Explosive plays, big plays, scoring down everywhere. It really is. This is a get the ball out in 3 seconds or less league now, and I was reading something that
Ben Johnson, for example, on your Bears, takes shots down the field to Luther Burden. You watch Denver, they're taking shots down the field to Mims. You got to have that guy on the field. I mean, the best teams will stretch you vertically and horizontally and keep you, really, really.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you win in the NFL is you use every blade of grass and you make them defend every blade of grass. And the 49ers right now are almost an exclusive underneath team. It's Mac underneath. Everything's underneath. They got to start driving the ball down the field a little bit more.
Again, there's a lot of shared institutional knowledge all over the coaching sidelines of this game. You've got, Jeff Ulbrich, who was a 10-year career 49er, by the way. When we sit around talking about the great linebackers of the past, Jeff's name does not come up, but he was a 10-year career Niner. He worked under Robert Saleh with the New York Jets. He was on the same staff as Shanahan for the 2016 Falcons team that went to the Super Bowl. And I guess Ulbrich has been showing the Falcons like their defensive highlight reel this week and then pausing it and then circling the space and saying, you see this space right here? Because that's all Kyle Shanahan is looking at all week long. Kyle Shanahan isn't looking at where our defenders are. He's looking at the space remaining behind them, and that's where he's going to attack. So Ulbrich is telling his team Shanahan is coming to attack space like no other coach that they played against this week. And we'll see how the Falcons respond to that. Like you said, their secondary right now has been killing it. The Falcons are a lot better than we thought, Larry. Like the Falcons, like you can look at the Falcons, you can watch a Falcons game, and you can be impressed by them. Then you open up the box score, then you open up the stats, and you're like, shit.
Well, they've come together. First of all, the GM is Terry Fontenot, who was behind Mickey Loomis in New Orleans for a long time. He's a sharp young GM. And Raheem is a sharp young coach. And they didn't just the Niners had a really good draft, but the Falcons had a really good draft. Jalen Walker is an absolute monster. I think you're going to see in this game what a stud he is. James Pierce, super electric off the edge. And then they drafted maybe the two best young safeties in Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame and Billy Bowman out of Oklahoma. So, I mean, AJ Terrell was their first round pick a few years ago at corner out of Clemson. He's really good. They got Bates from Cincinnati. He's really good. I mean, they've got a lot of guys. Aurora Rowe up front.
Who's officially becoming the guy that they drafted is Drake London. Drake London.
Really good. Drake London.
9th most receiving yards in the NFL right now. The guy that they hope they drafted from USC is here. And it's supposed to be here this year. It's year 3 for him, right? This is the show it to me year. And London is showing it to him. Again, Bijan Robinson right now is the best running back in football. He and Christian McCaffrey apparently trained together in the offseason.
Right.
These two guys are just money from the line of scrimmage. Bijan will do it with his legs, with his hands. He's special. He is a special player.
There's no question. I mean, Drake London, by the way, they really utilize him in the quick game. So he's a big factor in their quick game stuff. Like, everything within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Drake London, he's a big body. He's got great hands. He can get up. He's like a basketball player. He's like a post-up basketball player. And then I think the battle also in this game, Damon, to really watch for, if you like the game within the game, the X's and O's, it's the Falcons have two really good guards. I mean, they've got that young center who stepped in for Dalman.
Newsel?
He's the guy who just stepped in for Dalman. So he's a young player, but they've got Bergeron and Lindstrom, the guards, and that's the strength of their offensive line. Those guys are really, really good. Their tackle, left tackle Matthews is banged up, and the right tackle Elijah Wilkinson is now in. He was a replacement because McGarry's already on IR. But the battle is going to be Jordan Elliott and the Niners defensive tackles, Alfred Collins, against Lindstrom and Bergeron. To me, the winner of that is probably going to win this game.
By the way, I would want to make sure I got this right. It's London's 4th season already. God, time flies.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick in 22, I believe.
Yeah, and look, he had a good year last year, but this year he's really figuring it out, man. He's a good player. Awesome. This is just a balanced Falcons team. What Shanahan wants to do offensively. It's all about Penix. What Shanahan wants to do offensively, the Falcons are doing.
I mean, the Falcons are building a bully. They've had a good offensive line, And now, everybody made fun of them when they invested in Bijan Robinson so high in the first round. But look at Bijan Robinson. He's averaging 164 all-purpose yards from scrimmage. He's maybe the best back in football.
Look,
He's
I'm
very
tired.
powerful. He's very explosive. So he's a good receiver. So, I mean, they've got a star back. And you know what? They also kind of said, Damon, let's invest in, the Michael Penix thing made no sense either, right? They just signed Kirk Cousins, but they really believe in Penix, and I do as well. Now, I do think Penix has flaws, and he does throw a flat ball, and he doesn't throw, I don't think, very well to his right.
I'll say this, Larry, you can throw a flat ball when you're throwing at 300 miles an hour. He has a cannon.
He's got a big. He throws a great deep ball.
He and Josh Allen might go
toe to layer it. So if you can send a defender at him, he's going to have a hard time layering it with touch and accuracy. But he's got to, if you're looking to throw, if you get him into 3rd and 18 and you think, oh, we're set. No, you're not set. He's going to throw a 25-yard rope to somebody for a first down. He's a lot like Baker Mayfield in that regard.
Just a cannon. I mean, that's the thing.
Cannon, just a cannon, lefty cannon. I talked to David Archer about him, and David's like, man, this guy's really improved. But he said all quarterbacks throw better typically to their open side. And it's always a challenge to throw to your kind of closed side. And so that's something to look for in this game.
It's a crossbody throw that they've been, trying to coach out of you since the day you started throwing a football, right?
Right. And Penix has got, if you watched that game last week against Buffalo, Damon, Penix and London are just absolutely, I mean, they targeted him like 15 times. They connected like 10 times.
By the way,
they're really good as a combo.
Speaking of a quarterback finding a target, did you see Joe Flacco last night just feed Jamar Chase?
Yes, 23 targets.
Every single play was good. Where are they going? They're going to Jamar. And they just couldn't stop him. Just could not stop him, man. What a game last night. That was old man quarterbacking, excellent football last night. That was a fun Thursday night game that kind of felt duddish when you looked at it, but fun football game broke out.
Well, I mean, Pittsburgh's great defense just got shredded at the end there, too. And then the 68-yard pass to Freiermuth, and you think it's over. And then, no, there's too much time on the clock, and Cincinnati comes back and wins it on a field goal.
You can't give the Bengals and Joe Flacco that much time, Larry. You're asking for it every time.
I will say this, though, whether it's reasonable or not, I mean, teams do what they want to do. Trey Hendrickson, I don't think is going anywhere. They don't want to move him. I don't think they're going to move him. I know everybody wants him to be moved, but I don't think he's going to be moved.
There's only one thing that means he might get moved still, and that is a walk-away contract. Like, you'd rather get something than nothing for Trey Hendrickson, which is maybe the reason why he still could be in play. But the reason why he probably isn't is because the Bengals officially threw it into survival mode. They traded for Flacco. They've now won with Flacco. They have, I think, a little confidence they can cobble together a few more wins with Flacco, and they're already counting down the days to Joe Burrow takes his boot off and might be playing again in December. So they're looking to tread water for about 6-7 weeks here and see where they are in a wide open league. I think the Bengals aren't going to be trading the player that a lot of people expected. But we have 18 days, Larry, until November 4th. I think Cam Jordan or Bradley Chubb is going to be a Niner before it's over and done with. I think the Saints and Dolphins are both in play. I would roll with Tatum Bethune over Demario Davis. By the way, Demario Davis, I don't care how old he is. Guy's a tackling machine. The same amount of tackles as Fred Warner this year, Demario Davis. He's out there kicking ass.
Great. He's been great for years.
Yeah, but I'm going with Tatum Bethune. I'm going with Bethune if I'm the 49ers. I'm rolling with the young kid who got a lot of first-team snaps all training camp because, you didn't see Warner in training camp. I'm rolling with Bethune, and I am looking to add Cam Jordan or Bradley Chubb. That's, I think, the prescription that this team needs right now.
I'd go to the Jets. I'd go to the Jets for Will McDonald or Jermaine Johnson. I think Jermaine Johnson is healthy now. He's really good against the run. McDonald's really good against the pass. They know Robert Saleh. I think that's a big thing at this point. It's week 7. It's NFL football. It's very complicated. You can't bring in a bunch of guys that don't know what they're doing. You got to have some guys that kind of you have some knowledge of them. They have some knowledge of you, all that. So I like the Jets guys just for those reasons. And I think they're probably more available and they're probably cheaper. And I like the idea of 2 for 1. We'll see on the trade deadline, though. Lynch has said that they'll do their due diligence, but they may pull a surprise. I have a feeling the Niners may add an offensive player or two in this mix. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Whether it be a tight end, a receiver, a lineman, running back.
Juwan Jennings to the New York Giants for Thibodeau. I think I've seen that, but that ain't happening. The Giants are not selling off anybody now.
I don't know because, who knows how they think about Thibodeau. They're really loaded up front. And we should tell you, since we're 40 minutes in, that we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. Run out. Go say hi to Damon and Mary.
While Larry's glitching just a little bit, let me tell you about Pig and a Pickle. It is great. Damon and Mary have an awesome barbecue shop. If you're not in the mood for a little barbecue, check out Ike's. If you're in the mood for a sandwich today, the Plus is brought to you by Ike's, our good friends at the Dubliner, as always. And both Larry and I are brought to you by Sleeper. Krug, you were glitching there for a second. You back?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks. And we've been killing it for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, we probably also should get to our supers. And, of course, they're brought to you by Habas Law, 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. Thank you to Omar and Tarek Habas and Habas Law for sponsoring the Krug Show. They're great lawyers. They're rooted in the community, guys that I absolutely trust. And I believe, if you are in a tough spot, you want someone in your corner that can really help you out. Call the firm the insurance companies hope you never call, and that's Habas Law. They will fight to make it right. Visit them on the web at habaslaw.com. HABBAS law.com, 1-800-INJURED. Once again, they will fight to make it right. Habas Law. Let's go to our supers here, since we have some people who have donated. David E says, hey, Larry, who do you believe the Jets, or why do you believe the Jets would be interested in trading McDonald? I just think the Jets, first of all, because the guy who drafted him is no longer there. The head coach that drafted him is no longer there. Usually in the NFL, sometimes when there's regime change, there's moves that involve old regime players. I also think the Jets are looking at next year in a serious rebuild and want as much draft ammo as they can possibly get. I don't know that they want to trade McDonald. I wouldn't want to trade McDonald. I think he's a good young player, but he's been rumored. It was Graziano and Fowler that threw out a list of names, and then Schefter threw out a list of names of guys that are being shopped. And he had McDonald on his list. So that's why we've been talking about McDonald, because Schefter said he's being shopped. Danny Golding says, happy Friday, Damon and Larry.
Thank you, Danny.
PWS. How do you guys think B-Rob will do this Sunday? He's got to touch the rock, man. I think it was last week he got 3 touches and Christian got 25. I mean, there's got to be a little bit more equitable breakdown in the splits. I love Christian, don't get me wrong, Damon, but B-Rob's got to touch the ball more than 3 times.
He's got to touch the ball more than 3 times just for Christian's sake, not even his own, ego or carries or career. I'm not impressed at all. I got to be honest with you. Not impressed at all by Bijan Robinson, or not Bijan Robinson, but Brian Robinson. Not impressed. Do something, dude.
There's nothing. He hasn't done anything. I mean, it's like he doesn't look like he looks like he doesn't fit because he's not there. Running back's a rhythm position. You got to get in some rhythm. I want to see them run the ball, but I'll tell you what I would do is your idea of, go with the spread, put Christian out wide. He's one of the best receiving running backs. Take the pounding off of him. And then use Robinson in addition, maybe use them at times together. Fuji Simeon could be worse. 49ers could be Miami with Tua's mouth.
Tua had a rough, podium moment where he started talking about, guys not showing up for team meetings. And then Mike McDonald comes on out, or Mike McDaniel comes out and says, you can't talk like that. And then Tua even apologized, saying, yeah, I really can't talk. It's just a mess in Miami. It really is.
You mentioned Bradley Chubb. I wouldn't mind Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips was like a 19% win percentage off the edge right now, which is second only, I believe, to Trey Hendrickson. But both those guys can really do it. PWS, Kittle will help both in the pass and the run game.
More than anything else, though.
I asked the OC, Damon, what's Kittle's best trait? And, it's like he kind of talked about a number of different things. If I asked you what's Kittle's best trait, because he's a complete player, what would you say?
The thing that he brings to the team more than anything else is just, let's call it the je ne sais quoi. This is George Kittle is
the energy.
The reason he is the cheerleader that this team needs right now. He's the mascot that the team needs right now. The dauber is down with both Bosa and Warner out. George Kittle is the sprinkling of positive, good guy, great guy, awesome teammate energy that the 49ers need right now. His timing could not be better in terms of not only is this player coming back, but this player's attitude is now coming back into this locker room. Kittle is the perfect leader. He is one of the greatest teammates any 49er player has ever had. That, to me, is Kittle's greatest attribute. What he does to lift the entire room's feeling. That, to me,
he's a swagger player. He gives the team swagger, but he is playing now with a fully torn hamstring. You saw that.
Yeah, what the fuck? I mean,
I don't know what that means. Does that mean that he can't do it worse? He can't. I mean, didn't Emmitt Smith tear a hamstring? I mean, this could be. I mean, I hate to say this because it's nobody wants to hear this as Niner fans, but very much could be the beginning of the end for some of these guys. And Bosa, CMC. I mean, Kittle, Trent, this Warner, these guys. This could be the end. I mean, I hate to say that, because I love those guys and we all love those guys, but football's not forever. I looked at Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis, Damon, when they were like 28, and I thought to myself, these guys are going to be awesome for the next 5 years. They were both out of football by 29.
Yeah. Dude, this guy's played 114 games in the regular season. This is Kittle's 9th NFL season. He has already had twice the career most players are ever afforded. George Kittle is already a long timer. He's already playing football his body should not have allowed him to play several years ago. So everything you get from him right now is the frosting on a Hall of Fame career. God, it would be incredible if he could pick up one Lombardi trophy on his way to Canton. That'd be great.
Wouldn't it? Be amazing. San Jose, or Joseph Ernberg says, never thought I'd see a day where Kyle's run game is bad. Very excited to see Jordan Watkins. Sick of Ricky Pearsall project and being injured 24/7. Yeah, the Pearsall thing. I mean, I don't want to say I called that, but I called that. I said,
look, I mean,
have a hard time staying on the field. He's having a hard time staying on the field, period.
Yeah.
You got to be enormously tough to play inside in the NFL. And people are like, oh, he's the next Julian Edelman. Oh, yeah. You know what? Julian Edelman's like the toughest receiver ever. Right. So that's just like is he also the toughest receiver ever? I mean, I like Pearsall. He's showing he's really, 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 really good when he's out there, but he's going to have a hard time staying out there.
Right.
Let's get through these. Thomas Selman says, so a effing turf toe is going to derail us, Larry. I know. Believe me, a turf toe sounds benign, but it's terrible. Joseph Ernberg, we left 2024 wanting speed and still don't have it.
Keep cooking. I mean, that's the thing. Mac Jones has been phenomenal. So
he's been hit 20 times the last 2 weeks.
I get it, but that would be anybody.
You got to protect him. I like your idea. Spread it out, get the ball out, get him in rhythm. Mac in 2025, Damon, can do what Tom Brady did with Charlie Weiss's offense in the early 2000s, where there's Troy Brown, there's Amendola, there's just little short this and that. I think Jones could actually run that offense. I agree. Stop doing what you think you should do and start doing what you need to do to win these games. Thomas Selman, no, Kirk Cousins sucks. I'd rather play Martinez. Okay. Hey, it's not my idea. If you don't like it, call Pop. I was just sharing. Joseph Ernberg, God, I wish we picked up Burden or Savion Williams. Yes, dude, Savion Williams is just a beast. He's in Green Bay. I haven't seen Savion do anything yet. Tyler Black, Plus and a pickle. I'll be eating. I'm be eating Ike's and
Pig in a pickle.
And pig in a pickle this weekend. Yes, I will.
There you go, Tyler. We couldn't ask for a better audience member than taking care of the sponsors to take care of us. Thank you very much.
Seriously. Very nice. Very nice. Fuji Simeon, congrats, Damon, on the good IU football team. Oh, yes. I walk into the locker room yesterday. I walk into the locker room and I'm like, CJ West locker's right there in the front. And I've interviewed him a couple times. So I'm like, hey, bro, you're Indiana Hoosiers playing big. And then he goes, hey, come here. And he takes out his phone and he's like, look what I just saw. And he's got the Signetti contract extension. And then we talked Signetti for 5 minutes or so and hung out. CJ West is phenomenal, man. You got to get CJ West on.
I will. And I'm going to tell you right now that Kirk Signetti has put together one of the single most notable 19-game runs in the history of college football. He's only been at Indiana for 19 games.
How's he done it? Who was the coach before?
It was Tom Allen. Tom Allen, who then became the defensive coordinator of Penn State, didn't get it done. Moves on to be the defensive coordinator of Clemson, and that's why they're backtracking. Tom Allen.
Who's their recruiting coordinator, Damon? Who's their recruiting coordinator? Because they're getting lots of good players, and this is not a new development. Right, this is like a last 5 years development.
It's incredible. It's been incredible what has happened. It's the greatest 19 games in the history of Indiana football. It's one of the most revolutionary elements ever introduced into the Big Ten. It really is. Like, everyone thought with Big Ten expansion, it was going to be about Washington and USC and Oregon. And it is very much about Oregon. But for the time being, Indiana's presence is as important as Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon, and more important than Penn State, Iowa, Wisconsin, or USC. This is a world that was never available.
This is awesome. I mean, it's awesome. You guys look rugged and great. I mean, that team looks like they could beat anybody. Well, they strolled into Autzen and just said, no big deal. They played with poise. They played with toughness. They out-hit the Ducks. They outplayed them.
Kick ass on the line, and this is a note for Kyle Shanahan. When you kick ass on the line of scrimmage, you can kick ass anywhere.
Hey, we got to get through these.
Kicking ass on the line of scrimmage, man. They block, they protect, and they get to the quarterback. Oregon's quarterback had been sacked once before the Indiana game. Hoosiers got him 6 times.
Stefan says, sell Pinnock for a 6th. He's not playing anymore. I think that could be coming. Fuji Simeon, hear about Bob Myers leaving ESPN for a big CEO job. Congrats to Bob. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Bob has taken over the Harris Blitzer Group as president of sports. Basically, the guy who bought the Washington Commanders has looked at Bob Myers and said, you're in charge of the entire side of this portfolio now. It's a big job for Bob. He's a winner, man.
Yeah. Good guy. Like Bob Myers. MSQ. How do you guys think Tampa Bay will do as the defense's quarterback? How do you think TB will do as the defense's quarterback? Tatum Bethune. I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's really, really hard hitter. He shows up at the football. He's got great instincts. He's going to have a 15 tackle game. He's really hyperactive. He's also going to possibly be exploited in the pass game a little bit.
Yep.
But he's a hell of a talent.
He'll be identified as a conflict defender in that passing game, I think. By the way, Nick Martin, he better play this weekend.
Oh, he is. He's going to play. Come on Friday. JJ to Tennessee for left guard Skoronsky, the Northwestern kid. That kind of move on the table. I would do that in a heartbeat, man. I would absolutely do that. That would be an unbelievable move for the 49ers. And I love that. Cameron, I love that. Or come on Friday. I love that. JJ would be a hero in Tennessee, and Skoronsky is exactly the kind of offensive line piece the Niners should add to the mix. I like that one a lot.
I just don't think this team is in position to be trading a wide receiver right now. I don't. I mean, you're talking about
we'll see.
Adding a wide receiver. How can you trade a wide receiver if the talk is you need to add one?
Well, I mean, you're eventually going to get Pearsall back. You're going to get Ayuk back. You have Bourne established himself right now. Yeah, Jordan Watkins, I think, is going to have a big second half. We'll see. If JJ's not going to be here next year, so if you can get a draft pick for him or a player for him, I'd do it. Fuji Simeon says, "Love the T-shirt from the store, Larry. Also, boo SI. Oh, thanks for buying a shirt, Fuji. We appreciate you." That's going to do it for us. I'm going to jump over here in the next 5 minutes. Sitting in for Greg Papa with Greg Silver on KMBR from 10 until Kyle speaks, and then I'll go down to the Kyle presser. I'm fired up today, Damon, because we got high school football, JV football today. JV football at 4:30. Fired up to watch my kid play in Benicia.
Let's go.
I'm eager to see him out there.
Let's go Northgate JV.
Go Northgate.
We also got the Berkeley, California Golden Bears hosting North Carolina. I think KNBR is over in Berkeley all day. You're not in Berkeley today.
They asked me to go to Berkeley, and I said I'm covering the Niners. I'll be here. I got the option. I could go join Silver in Berkeley, or I could come down here and cover the Niners. And I'd rather come down here and cover the Niners.
I think that's the right way to go.
Last week, and it was brutal. I mean, I love Cal, and I love Tyler Tim and all the good people at Cal. And I will be going out there and interviewing Rivera and Wilcox and all that, but not tonight. Tonight,
not now.
I've got not today. I've got Niners on the brain. I'm covering it. I'm on the grind, and then I've got JV football, baby. So anyway, that's going to do it for us, Damon. Have a great rest of your Friday. Sorry if we had any technical difficulties. Thanks to all the supers. Hit like and subscribe on both channels. Thanks to our sponsors. The links are in the description for all of our sponsors. Help shop our sponsors. It helps us quite a bit. Damon, I'll give you the final word.
The Dodgers are 9 innings from the World Series. Have a cocktail, everyone. Take care.